For sure, it's desirable to have a career with impact and follow a professional path that has a significant and positive influence on the world, society, and environment. So, welcome to today's online info session on Career Meets Sustainability, Pioneering Industry Transformation. My name is Martina Waldner. I am Senior Program Consultant at HECTOR School in the sales team. So, let's dive into sustainability today and into possible careers and how to reach them. I have experts here from IBM like Leo Floegel and Dr. Stephanie Metzner, and as well from KIT like Andreas Fritsch and Sascha Ott, and they will share their insights with us here. And after each talk, there will be a Q&A session, so feel free to type the questions into the chat. But first of all, let me explain to you, I'm not sure if you already know, but what is HECTOR School, who is HECTOR School, what's going on here. HECTOR School is the technology business school of the KIT and offers further education trainings ranging from short certificate courses up to complete Master of Science programs out of KIT. So with this technology know-how out of KIT and the skill transfer, we want to support careers, also careers in sustainability, and increase the networking with the people around. So, and also today is important to have a word on KIT. KIT is one of the top 100 universities worldwide, and the mission of KIT is to make significant contributions to the global challenges in energy, mobility, and information. So KIT is also known for Europe's largest energy research infrastructure, the so-called Energy Lab 2.0. Also the mobility campus and its autonomous drive field and manifold research opportunities, and a broad variety of digital advancement, which also support the reducing of emissions and protect the climate. KIT is also home to the supercomputer HORECA. It's one of the fastest computers in the world. Imagine the performance increases to over 20 quadrillion operations per second. And here my short question to you. Do you know how many zeros there are in a quadrillion? I did not right away, so I looked it up. It's 15, so quite amazing. And this fast computer, a supercomputer, is also one of the most efficient ones all over the world. So for a career in sustainability, I just checked up on Indeed and I found there are more than 1,760 job openings. Interesting positions requiring technology, engineering, management know-how, and attractive salaries, I have to say, ranging from 60 up to 100,000 euros per year. So, but now let's hear what Leo Floegel of IBM has to say. Leo is a Senior Sustainability Strategy Manager at IBM, and also he's an alumni, he's a graduate of KIT and HECTOR School. Thank you, Leo, for being with us here today.
Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you all and come back, even though just virtually, back to HECTOR School, where I was studying from around 2018. I started and finished in 2020, and had a really good time there and a lot of stuff. Right now, I'm going to take you on a little journey on how I ended up working in sustainability consulting. And what challenges are there, and maybe some of you will be interested in that career or like attending HECTOR School or working for IBM. It's a very interesting field for sure. So let's go through it for a little bit. So I'm just gonna have a short introduction about myself. So I studied in a couple of different universities. I first started with industrial engineering, and I did that before I came to the KIT and was focusing a bit on sustainability there and did some exchange semesters. And then I worked in a lot of countries around the world. And so this is what happened before that. And then I started actually working at IBM at the same time as I started at HECTOR School. So I was doing I was working a bit for IBM, and then I joined the HECTOR School on the executive program for information systems engineering and management, and was working first in technology consulting at IBM Consulting, and then later gradually shifted more into sustainability. And a short note on that, the KIT also offers like a accompanying study program for sustainable development. You can join that while you're at HECTOR School as well, because every student at KIT is able to join this. And I was taking part of some of those courses as well. So that is how I got there. Then a little bit things. So what am I doing? What is my thing? So I kind of try to bring together those three aspects of technology, strategy, and sustainability. Strategy and management being like relatively similar terms here in a way. Strategy is the overarching impact, but you have to think a lot of like the managerial impact. And so HECTOR School firmly squared at the intersection of technology and strategy already, and technology and management. You will gain a great foundation of those two topics. And if you can combine this with like sustainability expertise, sustainability interest, and knowledge, this will allow you to work in a field, either a sustainability strategy consultant as I do, or actually most of my current team, they work in a more technical role. So they're more sustainability transformation consultants or sustainability architects. So you can have a more technical role if that's what you're more into. So you can shift your priorities around those things. So, and currently, like, what am I still? I'm still learning. I've been working for nearly 6 years now in this position, but I'm trying to get more into industry. Never underestimate industry knowledge. It's really helping you if you really want to have an impact on the place you're working at, to really understand what are they doing, and then you can bring the sustainability impacts into them. And then also just to like get into like consulting and managing roles, just develop leadership skills, soft skills, and other things. You will have a great, I was able to get a great network at HECTOR School with, like, you meet a lot of other executives that have been working for multiple years in the different positions, and to learn from those people, and to leverage your network. That's really important. So then the things I personally focused on are just like ESG. There's a lot of reporting that's currently changing, that's coming into place. So there's companies that voluntarily go into sustainability and a couple that are being kind of forced into it. Nonetheless, there's very urgent demand to and need to act. And then other parts, I personally focus on the analytical business modeling part of the business. So just looking at like, hey, how can we make this feasible? Like, this is a cool project, this could work, but to actually bring this out and have an impact, the company has to be able to scale it, has to be able to make it profitable, or at least not impact their finances while being more sustainable. And on the whole technology part, data is super crucial to manage all of this and bring this all together. I'll go into this part a little bit later on, but it's just to be able to improve your sustainability. First, you have to know what are our issues, what are our emissions, where are they all. If the company gets really big, they're like, we want to be carbon neutral by 2050, by 2030, we want to reach our Paris agreements. But first of all, especially if you go into like German industry, a lot of those companies don't even have those things. And then, yeah, last but not least, just for the topic, or just generally, just motivation is the thing that brings you through this. So if you really want to do this, you'll find you can open new perspectives, and you'll be able to just find the right position, and the people will be like want to work with you if you have that. So like a couple of things, what do we do at IBM, for example, in that field? So we have a couple of different action fields that we currently work on. So a lot of things are focused around sustainable supply chain and circularity, because that's a really big business with relatively easy trackability, traceability, and a large need. We also have the Lieferkettengesetz in Germany and similar supply chain acts around Europe and in the US. And it's something where you can have like a really big impact. And there's a lot of really good software solutions that also help you working out through this. Another big field is the whole analytics, finance, and ESG reporting part. ESG reporting is, as I mentioned, mandatory not only for the banks, but also for all the companies, and there's more and more regulation coming into place. And we all benefit from this if we as a consumer as well will be able to like know how transparent is it. Investors will be able to tell like how sustainable is this company, what will our money go into, and they will be able to get cheaper. If you work sustainable, you can get cheaper finance. So that's a really important part. Then for the more technical folks, the whole responsible computing and green IT part, you can have a strategic point as well, but there's a lot of things you can just have on how our algorithms run more efficient, how do we leverage them, where are they positioned, and the ethical part. So this topic is actually in the more the most recent material, which I didn't include here because it gets too complicated, a lot of the parts are included around AI, and especially like ethical AI. There's a massive impact the whole industry right now has, and it's shifting. But yeah, that's a complete trustworthy AI is a complete separate topic I could talk for like an hour about. But it's something really interesting, and that counts for me to sustainability as well. Then the whole energy part, decarbonization, clean energy transition, another passion of mine, which I studied in my bachelor's as well. And there's also like another degree at HECTOR School, which focuses on energy. That is something that's always needed. And then you have climate and risk assessments, a lot of parts of like what will actually happen, what not just how can we prevent climate change, but how do we adapt to it. It's a big part for insurers and a lot of different other companies. So there's lots of fields you can work on, and you see industries at the bottom. How does this work? Like as a sustainability consultant, what do you do? For example, if you work on a strategy, you just sit together with your clients, and you first of all have to figure out what is actually the baseline, where are we starting at? Then you go through, and this is not much different than any other strategy work. Basically, you just focus on sustainability. Then you develop their strategy and their vision with them, and then you can start iterative initiatives to like find out like which things are we going to start with first, how are we going to work it, then and then you can have the strategy, you can start, and then you introduce more business cases, and then you can overall you have to accompany this program. So this is a very, you can have a study within a few weeks where you set up this, and then you can accompany throughout like multiple years on it. And then maybe in the more technical part, one example of our offerings, and where also later there's going to be a part about the technology part of IBM, which is like lots of parts in here, but also in here they're leveraging a lot of tools for the data reporting and risk management. You have to really go through, measure their importance. You have building management, supply chain management, carbon taxing, pricing, data fabric. So bringing all the data together so you can leverage it. This is a massive field. So especially if you're into IT, there's no software like rolled out, SAP, whatever, similar large scale systems that don't consider sustainability. And the more you know about it, the more you can find your space in there, because a lot of people that build these solutions are not specialized on it. So overall, here I'll put together a small collection of like different things so you can see my career. Like here's me like speaking at a conference, here's me at my graduation with a lot of my colleagues. These are actually all people that work at IBM, and two of those, they're actually not on the picture because they sadly missed our graduation ceremony, but they also studied ISAM with me and are also in the sustainability team at IBM. Oh, here, one of them is in the picture in London at the bottom, and a lot of different other events. And this is overall my career on like bringing it together, being at HECTOR School and at IBM, and yeah, being able to follow my passion, work on advance our companies in the industry on transformation. So yeah, and one last thing, I was asked to also share what kind of 3 things I think you have to bring. I think passion, motivation is the most crucial part, and then just having an open mind. So like being able to adapt to new situations, something there's always going to be new stuff coming up, and being able to adapt all of these things with a focus. So like keep a clear mind on what you want to achieve, and always just like take a step back, think what are they trying to achieve. So because the most important thing is the end result must be the right thing. So you do the right thing, don't do super much, just do what is necessary, and then put as much work into that as possible. So yeah, thank you. And it's time for the questions. So if you have any, feel free to ask them. I'm not sure if you can speak up or if you can just chat. Yeah, thank you very much for being able to present here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Leo. This was a really interesting roadmap and the insights you were sharing. And now I also want to encourage our audience, if you have any questions, type in. And it's great to see some Hectorians here in your network, and that you are still connected, and that even more people are taking on roles in sustainability. There's a lot to do, and a great career for sure. It sounds really exciting, and having this impact and bringing all the skills together. So let's summarize up again. I remember there was the agility and the flexibility. So this is definitely what you need as a sustainability consultant. And the other ones were again?
Passion and motivation.
Passion and motivation. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Super. Yeah. So I want to encourage
problem-solving skills. Like the environment is basically it's still like a challenge we have, and just being able to just problem solving in general is something that you then have to apply on the topic.
Okay, yeah. So what would you say? What are your the biggest stretches you have to do in your work? What is most demanding? What is most difficult for you?
Well, the most demanding thing is just you have to. There's a lot of things depending on you. So like people hire you for a project, and the work you have has a big impact on how the company will work throughout the next years. They pay a decent amount of money for your workday. The company that like hires you as a consultant, so they have high expectations, and you have to always be there. You go into client situations, you have to be able to speak comfortably and have good solutions and be of value to them. So yeah, it can be quite stressful or impactful, but because of that, it can be impactful. So you can achieve something. But yeah, you have to be ready for it. And it's not, if you just want to do like the same task and make it perfectly, consulting is not the place where you can do anything perfect, because you don't have the time for it. You just want to focus on like how to get the most out of what you want to achieve. And that's either business wise or sustainability impact wise.
Yeah, so I see. Yes, this is really difficult to fulfill those both sides and to match them together. And yeah, quite variety. Yeah, big responsibilities on the job. Doesn't sound like 9 to 5. It's really getting your mind into different spheres, and yeah, sounds really exciting. And I want to say thank you very much for giving this insights and the inspiring talk today. And yeah, and I would now also like to move on to our next speaker, which is Andreas Fritsch. And for sure, digital skills are really helpful for a career in sustainability. And he is an expert in business process modeling and combining this with sustainability. Andreas is located at the Institute for Applied Informatics and Formal Description Methods, the so-called IEFB at KIT. And the head of it is Professor Oberweis, and he's also one of the program directors in one of our master Information Systems Engineering and Management. So, Andreas, I also know your social sustainability is really one of your topics. That's why I also wanted to mention it here in the introduction. To also open up this path. But now I'm handing over to you and say welcome. Great that you are with us here today.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. My name is Andreas Fritsch. I'm a researcher at KIT, Applied Informatics. And what I want to talk about today, also give you a little bit of an insight on the whole topic of sustainability and technology from a research perspective. And also, as I'm also teaching at the HECTOR School together with Professor Oberweis, maybe give you some ideas, some insights, what you will learn about the whole topic at HECTOR School, specifically about sustainable business process management. I want to start with a baseline or brief recapitulation about what sustainability is, since sustainability as a term is very widely used, maybe also inconsistently used in many ways. And for this, here I refer to the definition in the Brundtland report in the 1980s, where it stated sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And what the Brundtland report did, it looked at a number of environmental problems where climate change is just one of them, also desertification, biodiversity, and just to name just a few, and also on social problems, mounting social problems that we have, like poverty, hunger, child labor, also to name just a few. And the basic observation was that these issues are interconnected, and that we need to find ways out of this mess, and that we need to take, as a society, take responsibility, that companies need to take responsibility for this. And this is also reflected in the concept of the triple bottom line that was defined by Elkington in the 90s, which is basically an adaptation of the sustainable development concept, which says that companies have to account for the triple bottom line, meaning they are not only responsible for the profits, but also they are responsible for the impacts that their activities have on people, social issues, and on planet, the whole environmental issues. And what is interesting here is that, for one, this concept was widely successful. Yeah, we are talking about sustainability now. Here, many companies have published, for example, sustainability reports where they report about their sustainability impacts. But actually, recently, Elkington himself published a paper or an article where he said, well, actually, the concept failed. If he could, he would like to make a product recall and to recall the whole concept of the triple bottom line. Why? He said that, well, okay, the concept is widely used, sustainability reports are published, but it is far from clear that the resulting data are being aggregated and analyzed in ways that generally help decision takers and policymakers to track, understand, and manage the systemic effects of human activity. Maybe in other or more drastic words, okay, everyone is talking about sustainability, but we fail to make meaningful action. But you could also give all of this more positive spin and say, actually, there's a solution already in this statement I brought here from Elkington. Is the positive spin would be, yeah, there is sustainability awareness in the society, in the companies, and but what is the next step? The next step is that we need to make use of the sustainability data that is generated to properly aggregate and analyze it and make it and operationalize it, to bring it into the companies, into the information systems, and effectively use the data to change the processes there. To back these statements with a little bit of data here, I brought you an electronics or a survey that we conducted in a project called Scope 3 Transparent in the electronics industry, where you can see this a little bit reflected, these statements. There in the upper part, like there, the percentages you see there is like we can see that there's awareness for sustainability, or in this case, the whole issue of climate change, where more than 50% of the companies say, well, they've already received carbon footprint requests from the customers, or they even 90% expect this to be the case in the future. And many companies have already conducted some kinds of carbon footprint analyses. But, and these are the lower numbers, or the last three numbers here, which reflect the case, well, about actually using the data in a more broader context, that well many of the analyses that have been conducted were not really in depth, and also maybe just they've been just some experiments for some products and not for the whole product line of the companies, and only 5% of the companies so far use integrated IT systems to collect and calculate the carbon footprint. And here is where we believe that the whole topic of sustainable business process management, the domain or the discipline of sustainable business process management, could have an impact or can have an impact and help companies to move forward. Sustainable business process management as a discipline includes concepts and methods to support the modeling, analysis, improvement, implementation, and management of business processes, taking into account their potential environmental and social impact. In other words, with sustainable business process management, in research, we work on IT support for implementation and operationalization of sustainability analysis in order to help companies to become more sustainable. And at HECTOR School, we also provide you or teach you about our insights. And I won't go into detail here, there's not the time. But for example, we have developed a sustainable business process management method that gives you a framework on how to think about the sustainability of business processes and then support the analysis and the improvement of the business processes in terms of sustainability with IT, with information systems. Just as a general method or framework, but we will also show and discuss different tools for modeling sustainability of business processes, for analyzing and visualizing the sustainability of business processes. And there's also current research going on, for example, about sustainable process mining or AI support for sustainability analysis. And this is also something which you can apply, for example, in master theses, where you can apply the technical skills that you learn at HECTOR School also for building a better world addressing the sustainability issues that we have talked about. That's it for the brief insight that I wanted to give you about the topic of sustainable business process management. If you have further questions, there's, for example, I brought you some links about the whole topic of Scope 3 or sustainability analysis, carbon accounting in the electronics industry. There's the website from our project, scope3transparent.de. Also something that is maybe right now usable for you when you want to look into the whole topic of sustainability. We have conducted a market research about available sustainability tools and databases that you can look up at tools.scope3transparent.de. Where you find a list of different sustainability tools, also sorted into how usable they are, how complex they are, and so there are some simpler to use tools, some more complex tools. So that can be helpful for you if you want to look into this topic. And also about the whole research and literature on sustainable BPM. There's a literature review that provides an overview, pathways to greener pastures. If you have any questions, feel free to ask now or write an email. You can find me on LinkedIn. Thank you for listening. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andreas, for this first dive here into sustainable business process management and also sharing those cool tools. They will be for sure receiving some clicks and having a look at. Yeah, I'm also going to have a look here at the chat if there are any questions. And also, I have also a question. When you are a lecturer here at HECTOR School, how do you make sure that the students and the participants in the lecture learn how to apply what they learned in the course in their job in the company?
Mm-hmm. For example, we have created a practical scenario together also with industry experts, where we provide a scenario that is very practical about electronic supply chain analysis of a camera, and there we have like a case study where we distribute the students in different groups, and you get like practical and concrete data that also stems from actual sustainability analysis, and there you can apply the tools and the concept that you learn in a practical scenario, and where you can like get firsthand practical experience about the issue of sustainability analysis. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great to hear, because case studies are so beneficial to explore, to test, to apply what you learned in a safe environment and with your peers around, and get the consulting from the professor, from the lecturer, and then this is always really a great benefit to learn and then transfer it directly into the company. And so one other question from my side. How are the HECTOR School students participants for you as a lecturer? What is your impression here? Just an honest word from your side here. I would be curious and interested to hear does the lecturer, the professor, say about the participants here?
It may sound like just some advertising statement, but I actually feel like the lectures at HECTOR School are the most fun for me. So because it's very international, the students are always very motivated. I think maybe also Leo gave some insights here about that. You always have lively discussions where not only the students learn something, but also the lecturers learn something. So that's always I always look forward to the HECTOR School lectures. Yeah.
Oh, that's also really good to hear. I will pass this information on, and it's super. That's a win-win for all sides, and it's the same here for us. It was a great win-win to have you here, Andreas. Thanks a lot for your talk and sharing those insights. Yeah, and now let's move on. I'm so glad to have such a strong industry speaker here today. Welcome, Dr. Stephanie Metzner. Great to have you. Stephanie is a market sales leader in the DACH region for sustainability software at IBM. And I was looking up your career, and that's really impressive what you have done over the last decade. So you were ranging from analytics specialist, then you have different sales leader positions. You were executive transformation assistant and also data, AI, and automation ecosystem leader in the DACH region. So very impressive and great to have you here. And so today I think you will be pointing out some legal requirements, showing industry demand, and also I hope the solutions, and also very important career aspects in IBM positions. And the quote on LinkedIn just matched it there. So I thought, hey, I take it. And now welcome. And the stage is yours, Stephanie.
Many thanks for the invitation. I hope it's all good with the sound here, because I'm attending a conference and now they started their lunch break. So sorry for that, some background noises. Glad to be here and tell you something about sustainability and IBM sustainability software overall. So I'm the market leader, as mentioned, for sustainability software in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And we are facing some challenges with our clients and also by ourselves because of the legal requirements which are coming up. I think the legal requirements are really necessary to change something in our world and change the behavior we are having in sustainability. But here are just two of them. And also Leo pointed them out because every client is asking questions and do not know how to face the challenge. So the first one is the Energy Efficiency Act. The aim is to reduce energy consumption and increase efficiency overall. So that will be by energy audits and energy management systems. So some companies are already trying to get their energy data behind, and they have a management system, but it's not that easy if you have kind of connected machines or something, if you are in the industrial or manufacturing sector. So we need something which can help us to have a continuous measurement and improvement of all, or for example, the data center energy efficiency. But at the moment, most of the clients are looking for getting just the ESG reports done, but not tracking over the year how to get there and how they can improve their KPIs over time. So that's one challenge. The other one is the Supply Chain Sustainability Act, so ensuring compliance with human rights and environmental standards along the global supply chain. So that's also challenging for automotive clients, for example, or players who are really acting global with their sub-suppliers. And it's about a regular reporting and publication to fulfill and have a due diligence obligation within. So here's a high risk to identify the human rights and environmental risks in the supply chain overall, because it's not easy to have every single piece included in here. And we as IBM, we are addressing the hybrid cloud and AI market with a platform-centric approach overall. We try to emphasize our clients with integrated technology and, as also Leo mentioned, the business expertise. If you are an expert in a specific industry, that's really helpful overall to know where your clients are, how you can help them, what are their current challenges, to go really into a deep dive and have all the understandings behind. So, overall, it is our aim to support clients within their digital transformation. And we do it not by ourselves, so we do it, of course, with leveraging data, information technology, so software or infrastructure, our industry knowledge, and our strong ecosystem partners. So we are working closely together in a joint approach with ecosystem partners on different motions. So we are working with system integrators, we are working with ISVs who are developing own solutions for different approaches which are really necessary for example, niche products or niche solutions for industry-specific approaches. And we are working with reselling partners who can also do a service implementation afterwards. The solution overall gets underpinned by our software portfolio and, for example, Leo, because Leo is in the counterpart of IBM Technology, he's in consulting, so that's a perfect fit to have IBM Consulting and also IBM Technology by your side and within in your boat to drive together to the sustainability mission. It is our aim to bring ambitions. It's nice to have ambitions, yeah, but we all know we need to have a plan behind and we need to find the actions behind. So it's our aim to turn ambitions into actions. And in the center of all is kind of a sustainability strategy. You have data, you have reporting, but it's not that easy to bring all the points together, to integrate all the data silos to get the necessary information you need really. Within IBM, we are using, as mentioned, IBM Technology, IBM Consulting. Of course, we are using our research colleagues because they help us to improve our products and also on the infrastructure side, reduce CO2 emissions, for example, for our infrastructure piece. And as mentioned, we have our ecosystem partners. The sustainability software segment is fragmented into four silos. One is about intelligent assets and facilities and infrastructure. So it's also necessary that you measure and have KPIs within your intelligent assets, all the facilities, all the machines you have, to have the total control of what is needed to be done to reduce, for example, your energy consumption. In addition to that, it's really important to think about that responsible computing and green IT in your data centers. Often, because of agile development, for example, business units are provisioning some solutions in the cloud, using a lot of cloud infrastructure, and maybe the project stopped after 6 months and they forgot to reduce the instance in the cloud, and it's still billing every month. So you get the surprise every month where you are, what needs to be done, and then your CFO and COO saying, well, that's not used, we need to reduce it. And there are tools and possibilities to see in a dashboard, pretty clear and simple, where you are at the moment, what is used, what is unused infrastructure in the cloud or in the data center, to reduce really to a minimum, or have at least a little bit of buffer in between that you do not have any risks you see. And overall, it's about the energy transition and climate resilience and sustainable supply chains in the circular economy. Yeah, that's definitely. So if I read the chat, yeah, on scope 3, you're right, that's specifically on the supply chain part. So that's for our software side. We have, in addition to that, some career opportunities within IBM, and also I started as master at IBM's student within IBM. We do a combination between work and study. We offer it to those people who would like to get the real expertise from clients, jump into projects. So not only filling out Excel sheets or being administrative support, being really into projects and learn from the real life. So that's how we do it, and that's why you support customers, business partners in implementation processes on the work side. You get help and you get mentoring sessions or coaching sessions from experienced colleagues. you be involved right from your start. When you start with an IBM, you are actively involved. Take personal challenges, get additional projects where we see your strength to help you to grow within your professional career. And we deep dive on specific solutions. So from our portfolio, I show you we have 4 silos, so it's not possible that you are an expert in every part of the 4 segments. So we will find out what are the specific solutions you are interested in, your skills are suitable for, or you would like to get, and get also technical expertise behind. And on the other hand, it's important to do also the study part. Yeah, you get sufficient time to successfully complete your studies. Students can take into consideration what they do of study format. So we are really free here. What can we offer for students? And we are working closely together also with KIT and HECTOR School for many, many years. Yeah. As you heard also from Leo. Every student is free to choose from a wide range of courses according to individual preferences. So we do not say you need to just do sales management or do a marketing study. You can also go on the technical side and have a free choice there and decide what is your part of it. And at the moment, we have 3 open positions. One is the typical master at IBM study, so that you work and study. So main focus is on work. And yeah, we have also a working student program for sustainability software sales. But in addition to that, we are also looking for a master student in technical sales for sustainability software. So if someone is interested in one of the 4 pillars, just let me know and we will find a way to collaborate. So that was my short wrap up on IBM sustainability software. And let me know if there are any questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Stephanie. I would also conclude with a question to you. And this is so, yeah, you have been mentioning the master at IBM, this combination of studying and job entry. It usually takes, it's about a period of about 3 years. And maybe you could have some more words on that, as you were also master at IBM and you have been hiring now also the first students. So this would be really great if you maybe could say 1 or 2 more sentences about this program that IBM is especially offering, and where, for example, HECTOR School is also a partner in.
Yep, sure. So with the typical master at IBM study, we offer that you have real life examples, real life client cases, real life client situations where you are involved. So you are also the key contact person for the client. So you're really into the game. You earn money, so that's, I think, also one key benefit here. You earn money for the time you're here, and we are spending money also for the fee we need to pay for universities, so that's also a benefit. You leverage from a real huge network, so from IBM Consulting to IBM Technology to clients. So there's a broad range of variety you have on building your own network and expertise around it. You can get additional coaching sessions or education sessions like sales coaching if needed. We are doing a global sales school. There you are in the work stream and learn how to do sales, how to negotiate. So really learn the basics behind. And you get the practical experiences, which is really key for it. So when I started, I was asking after 3 months doing kind of support stuff for the team because I was also new to IT. I said, well, I was doing sales before. I'd like to do sales again. Please help me. And immediately they gave me a customer set. So I had a lot of mid-market clients in Germany and was doing sales by myself. So, and that's the best experience I had, to learn it by myself, have the challenges, learn how to swim, and learn how to find help if needed. So that were really the main benefits behind. But you get, as mentioned, your payroll every month. You have some benefits on the mental health side and on the health side, so we are offering something around that. In addition to that, we are thinking about offering something like the Deutschland ticket that you go by train every month and have it as substituted. And you get enough time for your university and do your studies over there, because that's also a priority. So you need to learn time management and how to prioritize, that you can do both, so on a practical side and the theoretical side. And in addition to that, if you finish your master thesis, you can also get some money for it if it was a brilliant work in finishing your master thesis. So, and for example, for the working student part, we are always open to have students from universities, for example, from HECTOR School or KIT. So don't hesitate to reach out and ask questions if you have questions around the program.
Super, Stephanie. Thank you so much for the career opportunities and for sharing here your know-how with us today. Thank you. So, and now we're gonna move on, and we're gonna meet now Sascha Ott, who is also lecturer at HECTOR School, but mostly known as he is managing director at the Institute for Product Engineering, the IPEC, here at KIT, and also managing director for the KIT Center of Mobility Systems. Therefore, he's really engineering experts in the field of mobility, developing mechatronic systems, and all around innovation. And one thing is also, Sascha Ott is also our lecturer in the field of sustainability in our management module in aspect to finance and values. And there it's about understanding sustainability, corporate sustainability, and also developing sustainability. So, but now I'm very happy to hand over and curious to hear the talk of Sascha Ott. Great that you're here with us today.
Okay, thank you, Martina, for the short introduction, and welcome all also to my short part. It's a pleasure for me that you joined that short, let me say, overall few lecture. And it was also nice to hear what the colleagues from IBM are doing, the aspects of KIT I know a little bit. I will give you another point of view, because if you have the KPIs which were addressed just in the other parts of the presentations, the question for us as engineers, and I'm a classical mechanical engineer first of all, for me is, okay, how to realize sustainable products? What can we do so that we can fulfill or even be better than the given KPIs from the strategy, and what are the skills and what are the capabilities we need to realize that on one side, and on the other side, what are the basics that we are successful with that new ideas, the new implementation on markets. And I will introduce on an example of mobility by using metaverse-based approaches, maybe some short aspects today. First of all, what is very, very important to understand is, and that we have seen in different lectures as well as industrial projects where we work close together with different companies, it's very important that everybody has the same understanding of sustainability. Why is that necessary? And of course, policymakers gave us some goals and targets. We have heard something about that today. And that is, of course, that what's driving industry. That's quite clear. That's important for the management point of view. And of course, that could not be neglected on one side. But on the other side, it's very important that we have a deeper understanding that sustainability is not something what's happened in policy. It's something which is at the end the base for future living. We have here heard it from Andreas. He told us about the Brundtland report, where we have that base definition, which is still, I think, for the ESG laws, one of the major aspects. Here I have the 9 boundaries, the planetary boundaries, in the meaning of that are really on the critical path from a safety point of view regarding what has to be or what have we to deal with in a primary way, that we have at the end a good way to live even in future. And here you see 6 of 9 were crossed last year, and that's not a good message. But there's, on the other side, one good message here to see. For example, stratospheric ozone depletion. It's completely green. You see that here on the right side of that graph in 2023. 10, 15 years ago, that was the most important, most critical thing. But that means if we as human beings are really engaged and doing something, we can change something. And that is, I think, a good point of view. But on the other side, we see we have some others, not only the climate change, not only CO2, where we have to work closer. And on the other side, even you see that regarding how policy is changing enormously fast, what's happening all over the world. Sustainability means, on the other side, more than reduction of CO2, more to fulfill some KPIs. It's also about a broader approach about, okay, what is the so-called sustainable development goals from the United Nations. Very often that's something in the discussion which is, let me say, delegated to policy. No, it's also about, we have to think, how does our products make, let me say, one potential impact to the different SDGs. On the other side, we have different trends and drivers, which are also working in that field of tension on market and acceptance by society as well as our customers by side sustainability. Yeah? So there's a trend to more software intensive products, human machine collaboration, different way, volatility on the boundary conditions we see in the market, as well as with the regulation side. We are working closely to connect it with connected systems, and of course the trend to automatization to support autonomous systems. And then that means on the other side, we need new approaches for business development, as well as engineering processes and methods. These are absolutely mandatory to be successful. Life cycle assessment, I think most of you know, but here you see what that means. Life cycle assessment is still something we have similar things heard about here regarding scope 3 and so on. It's about modeling. So we need, for example, more to understand on a model-based way, how is our product interacting with a system of systems, so the system's boundaries, where we are using our product, as well as how it's produced, and so the complete life cycle. And that is really a critical thing. We see that relatively often, especially in the domain of mobility, where you can see a lot of studies where you can read the different technologies have different LCA impacts, and that is, of course, the way how it's modeled, and that has to be transparent, of course, and even maybe based on new advanced systems engineering methods, so that we can deal with that complexity. And on the other side, especially regarding the 9 boundaries, we have seen there's another aspect which is really important. That is about, of course, let me say, a linear economy. That is the worst thing you can do. So at the end, the product is a garbage can. That is not acceptable. On the other side, recycling, that is the second worst thing you can do, because then you have a lot of energy which were used for the production of that product, which still is then at the end used and cannot be reused. And therefore we need other approaches like reuse, repair, refurbishment aspects, remanufacturing, and so on. But that is not in that way that you have maybe an used product came back to company and then remanufacturing that. No, that is not enough. And that has not the acceptance in your market. We have such use cases today in some niche, but that is not the broader approach. The broader approach is to pre-think that over different product generations. In the meaning of, we have, if you start a product development process, we have to think about what happens scenario-based in the next and over next product generation. It depends a little bit how long that product is in market. And then we try to make and design that we are able to came regarding that so-called 10R rules, which are here on the right side of the slide, more and more to close a loop in the meaning of reuse, refurbishment, remanufacturing, and so on. And of course, you see the so-called R0 to R2, what here is above about reuse, rethink, reduce. That is something we cannot fix with one product. That could only be fixed in the system. So the question is, can we come from product innovation to system innovation? And the domain of mobility, you see that here. If we are talking in research at KIT from mobility, we are not talking about vehicles. We are also not talking about trains. We are talking about system of systems in the meaning of that overall mobility socio-economic system. And that is so much important, because the times, as you see here in the beginning of the 20th century, were mobility change was in a disruptive way, which happened there driven by products. So the new cars which were aviable. Now you see between 9 years, the Fifth Avenue from New York on the left side in 1904 to 1913, we have a complete change. That was product driven. That will not happen today because we do not have that one new vehicle which is so much cooler than the other ones, that we have such a disruptive change. But we need that, and therefore the question is in what scenarios. And we talk about future robustness because we want to match different scenarios because we cannot predict the future, of course. And so the question is, for what scenarios can we realize the different visions? And that is now exactly the point of beginning where we use, for example, metaverse approaches. And that is very important to understand that is completely changing the way we are developing products. Former days, we developed a vehicle because of the boundaries were clearly defined for that vehicle. And now we have to change even the infrastructure and so on. And that happens today, if you think about electrical mobility, but it not happens in a way which is fast enough and it's broad enough to gain all that impact on the sustainability area. And here you see, for example, a vision of seamless mobility, what we have developed, not the time to introduce that in detail, but that is what is here developed at KIT in the meaning of that is matching very, very different scenarios, and therefore we have a future robust mobility system. And that is important because the sustainability impact is especially, you see that in that curve here on the right side, if you go to a design for system and not to be here on the level of eco-design. Of course, in our lectures at HECTOR School as well as in research, we are addressing the complete portfolio. But especially in research, the overall goal is what can we do for the system design. You see that broader approach represented in the left picture. That is the organizational picture of the KIT Center for Mobility Systems. And you see here the technologies are on the bottom line. Of course, we are Karlsruhe Institute of Technology. Yeah? So that's very, very important for us. But more important is even the complete system to understand and how is the interaction. But that means on the other side, you need acceptance on market. You need acceptance by society to create such innovations. And that means on the other side, we need new methods, and metaverse as a virtual representation of a complete change of such a system. System can help to align the different goals on one side, the different products on one side, which are necessary, and on the other side, to create acceptable visions, to bring the customer really in an early stage in the development, and you see what are the different benefits for the customer. So the elements of metaverse are much more than a classical simulation or digital twin, which is necessary for that from the technological side. These are all part of it. It's going more in that way that we are using gamification approaches to bring the society close to our product development process with the different elements you have written here in the slide. And you see that is much more than the classical product development. So just some very short insights. So do not hesitate to contact me if you go in deeper discussion. I would be happy if that happens. And then we see maybe the metaverse is a new digitalization, product engineering, and then the base for new methods and processes. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sasha, for your presentation and showing how the metaverse will really influence the digitalization of product development. We were talking before and we were saying, well, sustainability for some people, it's also really a serious topic. And maybe we also find a fun fact about sustainability and or some really even more special potential you would like to mention here today, sort of as a conclusion statement.
Let me say, we are performing several projects with industry, and we have even really new, very successful startups where they say, okay, one core element is to have the different dimension of sustainability as part of our culture of the company, not only for the product, even the social aspects inside the teams, as well as in the products, of course. And these companies, and we have several one in our network, are really successful, and they don't have the problem with not having too much employees, because they are really attractive even for younger people. And so that is, and that makes me really hopeful that sustainability development will really happen, because there's the motivation from the younger people, and that's really cool.
Yeah, super. So we really, let's turn ambition into action, like Stephanie also
Yes.
before said there. And I think Leo, he was mentioning it some time before. There is so much exciting and important work ahead. So we are definitely, focusing on this part and bringing the sustainability environment, protecting what we are having here forward. Yeah, so we are coming to the end. Thank you all very much for joining in. And I also want to say, join in HECTOR School and get ready for a career with impact. Join in, and start making a meaningful difference in people's lives, solve complex problems, and drive a positive change with the know-how through your master, through us here at KIT. Thank you all and take good care. Bye-bye.